Hey everyone, Adam here's the Wizard Podcast, back with another screener review. This time we are checking out Saint Drogo. Saint Drogo is kind of inspired by the 70s horror movies. The creators liken it to Rosemary's Baby, or The Wicker Man, the original, not the weird Nicolas Cage one. It follows a gay couple whose relationship has become strained, maybe stale, and they take this impromptu trip to go to Provincetown, Cape Cod because Caleb has been having nightmares about his ex in Provincetown. Provincetown is very much a seasonal place, and that is important to know for the plot. People don't generally stick around there for the winter, which actually made the location for it very cool because there is something creepy about, say an abandoned amusement park, a shut down mall, like these places that we know to be full of light and life and vibrancy. When you take them, quite literally in this case, to be these cold, lifeless places like Provincetown, Cape Cod in the winter, it has this kind of eerie element built in. So right away they get to start off on the right foot. But I'm kind of getting ahead of myself there. Mike Ahern and Brandon Paris, hopefully I'm saying their names right, wrote the film. They also created the movie Death Drop Gorgeous, which we talked about on the channel. You can find a review for that. I'll put it in the cards. About a serial killer running around in the drag queen community. Very original, very creative, cool movies. This one is in the same genre as Death Drop Gorgeous, but is a total gear shift. It is a much slower movie, but it kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat. Not with the gore so much, not with the vibrant world of the drag queen community, but because you want to know what's happening. What are these nightmares? And they become shared at a point between, so bad with character names, Adrian and Caleb, that there's obviously something more to it than it just being a dream. So they decide to go to Provincetown to look for one of Caleb's exes, and that the part might be weirder than anything to me, where Adrian is just totally cool with going to look for his partner's ex. I mean, if my wife was like, I want to go out of town for the weekend to find my ex-boyfriend, I'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? And I guarantee the same vice versa. So, I mean, obviously I'm joking there. That's not the strangest part of the movie. It gets into some crazy things that I don't want to go into spoilers on this because it is one you should watch. And when you're watching a slow burn movie, the whole thing keeping you hooked is what's happening. So we're not going to be going over that in this video. I just thought it was a funny detail. It's cool to see these guys doing something different. Death Drop Gorgeous was a very original movie. It was the first one I saw by them, this one being the second. It's cool that they didn't try to go back to that same well or to do the same kind of story. It's a totally unique, totally different thing, and it works just as well, but on different levels. The intrigue of it does keep you hooked. Even though it's a very slow burn, to use the term again, I never felt bored. I was never checking the runtime. I was never on my phone wondering, what am I going to do after this? I was in it. I wanted to see what was happening to these guys. When the big reveal starting to happen and things are going on with the characters, I was at first a little disappointed because the character that I related to the most was doing things that I didn't quite get. And I really think the movie's worth a second watch to really get into it. But as I processed it for the rest of the day and the entire next day, it made more and more sense as things went on. And it almost became obvious in a way as to how I didn't see, not the twist of the movie, you can't be blamed for not seeing that coming, the character moments, because it's a character piece put into this larger crazy picture. We already talked about the location, which that was cool to use a thing like Provincetown, Cape Cod, which is very big for these guys, very big in the gay community, and it has that natural creepy feel. And I also imagine filming there in the off season probably wasn't that difficult because there's really not much going on. It's shot very well. It looks good. The audio is good. It's clear. It doesn't have that kind of empty, hollow feeling that some of these micro budget movies get. It's all easy to follow. The acting is well done. It doesn't feel like they're constrained by time or budget or locations. The characters are living their lives before they go to Provincetown, and they're out in the world, and they have a friends group, and there's a whole world around them that isn't 100% essential to the plot, but it is essential for it to feel like people doing things in the real world. I mentioned just a bit ago that this movie is probably a two-watch movie. I don't mean just two watches, but two to really get the full extent out of it. Because now that you know what the big reveal is, you're not going to be watching for that. You're going to be watching for the clues for that. It's kind of like the first time you saw Fight Club, you notice weird things going on, and then when you get the big reveal of Fight Club, when you rewatch the movie, you see what those things are and the pieces come together. It's not that in your face in St. Drogo, but I'm sure there were things, character moments, things once they get to Provincetown that do much heavier foreshadowing to the big reveal than what I initially thought. I also think it's worth a second watch just because I was really invested in one of the characters more so than the other, as I said, is the one I related to more. And knowing what happens, I almost felt guilty a little bit for that because of what happens to the other character. And in that second watch, I want to know if I would resonate with them more or feel more pity or something along those lines than just the initial watch where I found him kind of annoying, and intentionally so. I mean, it wasn't a bad performance by any stretch. It was the opposite. It was a good performance that incited the feelings. So St. Drogo, I don't know where I can point you to watch it because they are looking at getting into film festivals, so it might be a little while before it's on VOD. But a lot of these film festivals now, especially for the indies, have ways to buy online passes and online screeners. So I don't have any names for you yet. You can follow the company Monster Makeup Productions on Facebook, Monster Makeup LLC on Instagram, and stay posted for all of their announcements as far as St. Drogo is concerned. And Death Drop Gorgeous is available now on VOD, and you can check out our review, which will be in the cards. Huge thanks to Brandon and Mike for sending this my way. Huge congratulations to them. And I'm going to see what I can do about getting them to come back on the show to talk to us about St. Drogo, about switching gears creatively, about getting into film festivals and what's that like. Please make sure to like and subscribe, hit the bell, do all those things. One, it helps us grow our channel, helps us know what you want to see. We got more unboxings, reviews, screener reviews, Amazon reviews, comic reviews, all those good things coming your way. You're not going to want to miss out. Make sure you listen to So Wizard Podcast every single week, wherever you get your podcasts. SoWizardPodcast.com is your resource for reviews, recommendations, videos, merchandise, and more. We love hearing feedback, so drop us a note in the comments, leave us something on social media. All the accounts can be found after the show and in the show notes. So Wizard Podcast can also be found on Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you get multiple monthly bonus shows. And on a more personal note, a good friend and I have an ongoing comedy comic series. It's called Social Studies. We follow a group of friends through high school, all the ups and downs, while they're trying to figure out who they are, what's going on, and we do it all through the comedy lens of a sitcom, and it's done in the style of the 90s cartoons that we grew up on, love, and inspired us. Thanks.